Well, I'm just a little less than 2 hours from going live on Coast to Coast AM, the most watched overnight radio program, or the most listened to in history. Very excited to go on that show. Very excited to be with George Norrie. I will be the second guest tonight for 2 full hours. And I'm sitting here waiting to go on Coast to Coast. And I said, you know what? Let's do another show because I have some things that I want to say. I have some things that I want to talk about. So why not go ahead and talk about some other things and say some other things? And that's what we're going to do. I hope you caught the show earlier with Scotty Roberts. It was a great show. We did get into some controversial areas. Hello, Lauren. Nice to see you again. We did get into some controversial areas, and I hope that you understand that there are a multiplicity of beliefs and opinions about many things. And so I'll be on Coast to Coast a little less than 2 hours. So I figured let's do a show right now. And I want to talk about something. I talked about last night. I got a message from Dan from Overwatch Channel, who will be at the Extravaganza of Enlightenment here on December the 10th. And I don't know if you heard or not on the show with Scotty, we've just got confirmation that Rex Bear, Leak Project, the man himself, will be here in Clearwater, Florida. So it'll be Rex Bear, it'll be Heidi Vandenberg, it'll be Jenny Moonstone, it'll be me, it'll be Dan of Overwatch Channel, all for only $50. And that includes your Vedic chart and your numbers. It's going to be a great event. Come on down. After announcing Rex and after announcing it tonight on Coast to Coast, I imagine we'll be filled out. So please, if you do want to come, go to jeffreydarty.com, make your reservation right now, pay your seminar cost, and you will be glad that you did. I promise you. jeffreydarty.com. I think Scotty is very interesting as well. And I watched last night. I watched Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. And I got a message from Dan from Overwatch Channel. He said, you got to watch this. He said, Ghost in the Shell is must watch. Okay. So I went out and I rented it. And I want to let you know, I rented it from Redbox and I took it back today. So for the first time in history, I won't be paying any late fees for a Redbox. So I wanted to let you know about that. That's big stuff. I liked the movie. I thought the movie was very interesting. If you haven't seen the movie, if you haven't, it's worth it. And I probably won't give you a whole lot of spoilers, but I do want to show you. I'll show you the image of the movie. It does star Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know what I said, but that's who it is. Scarlett Johansson, and she is a person whose brain is transplanted into a mechanical body, and it is the whole moral and very practical battles between who she wants to be, who she is. And it is a morality tale. It's a live action movie of the manga and anime franchise of the same name. So it was a very good movie. And it really talked about a lot of things, and it really addressed a lot of different issues. So if you haven't seen it, I would recommend that you do see it. It's definitely worth the rental at a Redbox or something similar to that. Very, very worth it. Sorry to hear about those issues, Philip. We would love to see you. But listen, it was a good movie. I would recommend that you watch it. I would recommend that you and watch it and listen to it. Think about it. And it will show you, it will help you see some things in a different way. If seeing the manga, I have not seen the manga, so I'll have to check that out. but it was really good. Violet Flame likes the old school Hollywood videos. Definitely going to rent it. It's worth it. And there was one thing that was said over and over that really stuck with me. And I want to believe, and I believe it's true. I really do. Oh, the old Blockbuster. Yeah, I do believe it's true, ladies and gentlemen, that even though AI is on the rise, even though AI is going to try to ascend itself into a deity, even though AI is, in my view, going to try to take us over, it's not over. And I'm going to talk about that tonight with George Norrie on Coast to Coast AM. We're going to talk about the rise of AI and AI as prophesied in the Bible. But the one thing I want you to know, and you know, our good friend Wayne talks a lot about AI, and he takes a little bit dimmer view of it than I do. But here's the main thing that I want to get through to you tonight. And if you saw my little picture that I made for this, and I want to show it to you again because I think it says in a very good way what we're talking about. And let me just go ahead and share this. Here's the little picture that I made. In the movie, it's kind of a throwaway line, but she says, "My name is Major and I give consent to this download," or "I give consent to this deletion." So whatever she had when they were doing things to her, she had to give her consent. And I took a little turn on that. Again, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. This is the Gospel Truth program. And I just say, my name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. My name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. I would encourage you to put your name into that statement and say it with me. My name is, and I do not give consent. Let's do it again. My name is, and I do not give consent. One more time. My name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. And again, I think that for some reason, the powers that be have to show us what's going on. They have to tell us what's going on. They have to tip their hand to us. I don't know if it's something that the Elohim make them do, but there's something that makes them say and tell us things that we need to know, that will break, that will, and it actually does give them, put them at a disadvantage, because I believe that Wayne's right about AI if we give our consent. Those people that are very, very worried about AI are correct if we give our consent. But I think even if it all goes to hell in a handbasket, proverbially, even if it's as bad as it could possibly imagine, it still gets down to this: we have to give consent. I do not believe they will be able to capture us and put us into a AI body without us giving our very conscious consent. And it's not just, oh, you log on and that's you giving your consent. Oh, you use your cell phone and you've given your consent. No, I think it's going to come to the place where we have to give consent. And the reason why I think that is because it's also something that is implicit within the writings of Paul, who is the, ambassador of the rat bastard. And if you look at simple things about Christianity, which is the religion of bondage, Christianity, also, of course, Judaism and Islam. But if you look into like this, let's look at Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10, talking about giving consent. And someone just sent me an email that said, I sold my soul to plastic Jesus. How do I get out of it? Here, I'm going to show you that right now. Look at this about consent. Look at this about consent. For if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, what are you doing? You're giving consent. You're making a speech. I remember when I was a Christian preacher, we made damn sure that you could not pray the sinner's prayer to yourself. You had to come to the front of the church. Why do they make it such a big deal? Why is the altar call such a big thing? Why do you have to come to the front of the church? Why do you have to say it out loud? Because it is a confession. It is giving your consent. If you confess with your mouth, do you see that? With your mouth, you have to speak it. You have to give your consent. to the Lord Jesus. You have to believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead. Then and only then can you be saved. And look at this again, in case you missed it. For with your heart you believe, but it is the mouth. With the mouth confession is made unto salvation. With the mouth confession is made unto salvation. You must give your consent to the Lord Jesus to sell your soul to him. You must give your consent to receive what he calls salvation. And of course, the interesting thing is he's giving you salvation from a hell that he created. He's giving you salvation from a sin that he put inside you. And he created your problems, and now he's here to save you from them. That's what you call a racket. That's what you call a sham. That's what you call a travesty. That's what you call a mockery. So you had a travesty, a sham, and a mockery, a travis-shamockery. And in the same way that you have to confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, in the same way that you have to, that your confession with your mouth is your salvation, that's the same way it's going to be with the AI. You will have the choice to give yourself to the AI divinity. You will have your choice to live forever in a perfect body. And if you want to give your consent, all I can do is warn you. All I can do is counsel you against it. All I can do is say, don't do it, you'll regret it. But in the end, it's your choice. It's your decision. You give consent. I will not give consent. My name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. And the fact that I do not give consent, and in the movie, there's people like that won't go into or won't take the upgrades, and they just say, no, I won't do it. And they are still humans. They are still people. They are still flesh and blood. And even if the worst case scenario of some of the folks that talk about bad scenarios, even if the worst case of the scenario happens, you will still have to give consent. And if you don't give consent, you will not be taken over by an AI body. Now, they might kill you, they might starve you, it might not be good for you, but if you don't give consent, you won't be placed into a body from which there is no escape. These bodies have many flaws, but there is an escape from these bodies. And if nothing else, the escape is death. And they're trying to prevent death, not because they love you, not because they care about you, but because they want to put you into a body from which there is no escape so they can continue to use and abuse you ad infinitum, forever and forever. So I do not give consent. I will not give consent. I will not be AI. I will not go along with AI. I do not give consent. My name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. I will not give consent. Let's look in the chat room and see what people are saying. Pulling an all-nighter with Jeff. I'll literally be up until 5 a.m. I'll probably go out and have some breakfast after that, go hit the gym, hit the beach, maybe come back and go to sleep. Sounds like a plan to me. Blow your mind. They always show us what's going to be happening in the movies. They do. Don't know why, but they do. Or don't know maybe if just people that make movies are grabbing ideas that are floating in the ether. Thank you for your peace. Somebody says, I do not give consent. Who was that? Sterling Knight has tagged me on Facebook. Where is that? It was a pretty good movie. I do not give consent, says Kekis Volt. I do not give consent, says Edgar Forrester. I do not give consent, says April. Jen says maybe there's karma. Wendy says hi. Hi, Wendy. I do not give consent. My name is Joel Chambers, and I do not give consent. I like it. I do not give consent. AI is super telepathic. Richie from Boston has his viewers say the same. Really? I didn't know that. I do not give consent. I thought he lost his channel. I guess he got it back. I recently had an experience where I felt like someone or something was trying to put me in a trance and do something to my brain or give my brain some download. If you don't have an idea that it's divinity, I would resist that 100%. What happens if you go with plastic Jesus, reincarnation or hellfire and destruction? One of those things. But if you have sold your soul to plastic Jesus, all you have to do is say, I break the covenant, I break the contract that I made with the Lord, that I made with Jesus. I do not confess with my mouth the Lord Jesus. I recant my confession. I do not believe in my heart that God raised him from the dead. I recant my confession unto salvation, and I am divine. I am sovereign. I am free. I break the power. I break the covenant. I break the contract. I break the agreement. I no longer belong to Jesus. He must leave. I break the agreement. I break the covenant. I break the contract, and I am free. That's what you need to do. They like to do sneaky little things and trick people into consenting. You're right, Violet. You are 100% right. The Gospel Truth Army is a no consent zone. Yes, it is. Edgar Forster says barium and aluminum. If you take the first letters, you get Baal or Baal. That's very interesting. Very scary. Bingo, bongo, put you on the spot. No one answered me the Baal questions. Good info, babe. And gay frogs. I don't know what that has to do with gay frogs. Deborah, you are so powerful. I like that, Violet Flame. Great statement. Okay, let me get back up here. Our bodies are a prison. Why do you think we get sick? But they're a prison that at least we can get out of. Yes, I believe in reincarnation, but I believe that the Christ came to give us the information we need to complete our ascension in one single lifetime. I do not give consent, says Edgar. I've talked to MIT engineers, physicists, and they're all about AI. Well, that's great. But we're not, except I spell Allen the correct way, Jeffrey Allen. I spell it A-L-A-N. Just remember that, Deb, that you can tell them to F off and leave you alone. It cannot touch you. Absolutely, Violet Flame. So many people will be tricked into consenting. They will, but I think so many of them will do it willingly because they are intellectually lazy. Philip says, I do not give consent. Absolutely. I was watching something or other. I tried to talk sense to them. That's all you can try to do. I do not give consent, Stephen LeBlanc. Like the revocation of contracts of tacit consent, I do not give consent. Perfect. Jeff, you read my mind. Thanks for this. I was looking for your show. When you said this, I couldn't find it. Jeff, if I order some t-shirts, can I get them before Christmas? I think so, yeah. What an a-hole Jesus is. Yes, he is. Oh, look who's back. It's Colin James McIntosh, one of my favorite trolls. Jesus is an asshole because he's not real, and there's nothing to rescue me from. I'm born with the spark of divinity, not the original sin that he wants to pin on me. So bye. Plastic Jesus, Soylent Jesus is people. No thanks. I'll pass on the human sacrifice. I'll pass on the cannibalism. Hi, Jeff. We're in Santa Barbara, 3,900 miles away. Nice to have you. Talking about the big moon. Should I burn my Catholic baptism certificate? I would, but that's you. Heidi Vandenberg in the house. I do not give consent, says LJD. Whose chart did you just read, Heidi? I wonder whose chart she just read. Surely it wasn't Colin, because he's Mr. Christian. He wouldn't let you read his chart. Obviously. Crazy. So, Jeff, where do we draw the line with all this tech? He's harmless. He just wants the truth. Colin? Well, why is he so nasty sometimes? Well, I let Colin back in. We'll give him a chance. So, Colin, I salute you for being here, my friend. Where do we draw the line with this tech? That's a great question. And Colin, if you had Heidi read your chart, then you're more open-minded than I thought you were. I owe you an apology. Where do we draw the line? That's a great question, because here I am using this technology. I'm going on shortwave radio. I'm using this technology. In an hour and a half, I'll be talking to millions of people on Coast to Coast AM. So I do think it comes down to consent. If you are not giving consent to have it come into your life, if you're not giving consent to have you go into it, if you're using it as a tool, and I go back to Mr. Spock on Star Trek, he said that computers, the internet make wonderful servants, but he has no desire to have one of them as a master. And I feel the same way. And to me, Violet Flame, I would say that it's the same thing. As long as AI is your servant and not your master, then you're okay. You have to decide for yourself where that line is drawn. My chart says I was born to preach. I don't know if she told you your chart which says you were born to preach, but that's interesting. I always think about the children in their third world companies that are indoctrinated. They're probably not as indoctrinated as we are. That original sin was his, not ours. Perfect. Thank you, Deb. That's great. Riza Muradi does not give consent. Live equals evil backwards. That's interesting. I like Jeff. Kind, humble man, he seems, for sure. Heidi's motives are genuine. You're just plain nasty. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting, because Heidi will be at our live event on December 10th, and so will Rex Bear, and so will Jenny Moonstone, and so will Dan from Overwatch channel. Colin, are we cross? Because if we weren't friends, I just don't think that I could bear it. Have I become your enemy because I've told you the truth? The Lord is a rat bastard. He was created without a father. He has been killing men, women, boys, girls, children, babies forever. The Christ said that he is the father of lies and the first liar. The Christ said he is a murderer and the first murderer. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the Lord is the rat bastard. Jehovah is the rat bastard. And the God of the Bible is the rat bastard. The Christ is the Elohim that deposed the rat bastard. And the Christ has the message of redemption in a single human lifetime. My name is Angel Williams, and I do not give consent, and I retract and break any previous contracts made. Very well said, Angel. If you're wondering how to break those contracts, my name is Jeffrey Daugherty, and I do not give consent. And I retract and break any and all previous contracts made. Bam. And then Proud Beauty, of course, chimes in that I'm not that humble. That's okay. Jeff, are you nervous about going on Coast to Coast? That's a good question. I've actually been on Coast to Coast. This is I believe it's my seventh time. My seventh time. And it's still like Christmas morning every time. I had a goal. If I could just be on Coast to Coast, that would be my major bucket list thing. Having done it 7 times, yes, I don't know if I'm nervous. I'm not nervous anymore. I'm just very, very excited about it. And I've learned how the format works. I've learned how to be most effective on the format of Coast to Coast. And I like to think I do a decent job, because they do keep inviting me back 2 or 3 times a year for the past couple of 3 years. So I'm very, very happy to have been on Coast. I'm very, very happy to be going back on. I'm not nervous, Chaw, but I'm very, very excited. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I tried to lay down, take a nap before. Not going to happen. I'm excited. I love the opportunity to speak to millions of people and get this message out. And whether it's, I just forgot his name, Colin, or people like Colin, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to believe. I believe that Colin, I believe that I believe that everyone has the right to believe what they want to believe. I also happen to believe that they have the right to as much information as possible to be able to make the best decision based on the most knowledge. So that's what I do. I bring people to truth I don't pretend to make them think. I bring people to living waters. I don't pretend to make them drink. Mark Twain said that it's much easier to fool someone than to convince them they've been fooled, but that doesn't mean that I am going to stop trying. So, good question. And I hope it was a decent answer. The servants are currently being coded to be the masters, yes, as long as you aren't abusive. Jeff is for free speech. That's true. AI, use it, but don't let it use you. Joe, that is powerful. Use AI, but don't let it use you. Think about the wonderful opportunities the internet has created. Right now, there's about 4 million minutes a month that people are listening to the Christian Whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Gospel Truth. 4 million minutes a month. I preached for 20 years. I don't know if there were 4 million listener minutes in all those 20 years, and I preached to large crowds, thousands of people. I don't know. And these things go on forever. Days, weeks, months, years. The first video I made was 4 or 5 years ago. It's still on YouTube. We're able to do a lot of great work through this technology. So I agree 100% with Joe. Use the technology, but don't let it use you. Gee, I wish, will any of this be aired? I'm not sure what you mean. Colin James McIntosh. He didn't say I'm your daisy. He said, I'm your huckleberry. I'm your huckleberry. You're a daisy if you do. You're no daisy. You're no daisy at all. So I love where you're going with that, but I'm a perfectionist, so there you go. How do you think we're supposed to behave during Christmas? And do you think it's wise to continue the tradition? I don't think it matters. I personally don't participate in the religious part of Christmas. And I no longer feel compelled to tell everybody about the religious part of Christmas. I will on the show, obviously. But I have kids. I have grandkids. I will give them gifts. I will show my love and affection. I will show my appreciation, but I will not participate in the religious aspects of it. Christmas as a time to think about the people that you love, as a time to gather with friends and family, as a time of rest and relaxation. I don't have any problem with that. I do have a problem with people going so deeply into debt, trying to do the whole gift thing. I stay within my means. I stay rather conservative. Sometimes not so conservative with the grandkids, but generally conservative. And so that's how I handle Christmas. All these trolls have nightmares and terrors. Go away, trolls. Philip M. expressing his undying love for Heidi still. I got to tell you, Phil, you're not a man that gives up easily. Why his beliefs are so one-sided. What did Heidi say? Yes, he was. Let me go back. See what she said. Yes, I have. Yes, he was. Oh, he was supposedly called to preach. Preach what? That's why his beliefs are so one-sided. How can you be called to preach from a God that doesn't exist? But anyway, I'm not the astrologer Heidi is. So there you go. I don't have to understand everything. And it's a good thing because there's a lot that I don't understand. Too many what's walking around? Too many. Come on. Too many. Come on. It jumped on me. Come on. There we go. Wise beliefs are so one-sided. Too many NPCs walking around. I'm not sure what an NPC is. I do not consent, says Miss Space Cake. Good for you. If someone would have said this to you before you were awake, you would have done the same thing. Oh yeah, I'd have been a troll extraordinaire. That's why, like Trisha was asking me, why do you let these trolls stay around? And people ask me that all the time. It's because of exactly what Heidi said. I see myself in them because I was in that place. Now, of course, I can't tell if Colin and some of these trolls are at a place where they're seriously seeking. You're behind on the chat. Yeah, no, I'm trying to catch up, Heidi. Where I don't know if they're in a place where they're really seeking or if they're just being trolls. So I err on the side of caution. I try to give them some room until they just get, it's 140, until they start being assholes, then I kick them out. Meaning as a minister, I like that, Heidi. It's like hearing there's no Santa, ha, ha, ha. I was pissed. Yeah. Heidi says, ha, ha, ha. I just happened to check in because I saw something yucky in my yard. My dog was freaking out. It said almost those words while not giving my consent to many things. Thank you, Spartan Gaming. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. Spartan Gaming does not give her consent. I hope your situation is working out. I'm glad to see you back. Wow, let's ignore Oz. Red slippers represent. Oh, here we go again with the Wizard of Oz. Colin, I'll tell you one more time. This is just brother to brother trying to help you out. The guy that wrote the Wizard of Oz was not talking about Christ's blood or salvation. He didn't believe in it, Colin. He was a theosophist. He was a follower of Madame Blavatsky. I've done teachings on this. I'm just trying to give you the facts, bro. You don't have to accept them. You're reading something into a story that did not say anything about that at all. Isn't Jesus and the Christ the same? No. I wrote a book called Jesus and the Christ. The Christ is the word, the Elohim that came to the earth. Jesus is somebody that was made up, never existed. Take them away, Jeff. You can do it on Coast to Coast. Jeffrey's the best teacher we could ever. Thank you, Philip. I do my best. I'm stoked for you, brother. Spreading the knowledge. Yellow Brick Road represents the Bible. I'm telling you, brother, just open your mind. I'll agree with Heidi. Just open your mind. My name is Karina Lopez. I do not consent, and I retract any and all previous contracts made. Bam. I love it. Heidi says, trust me, this was confirmation that it wasn't in my head. I did the correct thing. Crazy, no, very crazy, not a lie. Bam. Colin, he's just giving you facts. If you're not arguing with Jeff, you're arguing. Yeah, well, I like to think that. Jeff is booming this week. It's been a good week. We were on the Power Hour for 2 hours. She held me over. He held me over, which was great. Jeffrey Allen, Channel 27, Heidi Vandenberg. It was a really big bummer about Santa. You know, it's interesting. I was dating this girl, dated her for about 10 months or something. And she's an intelligent person, a 4th or 5th degree black belt. That's who I got my training through. And she literally sees Santa Claus every Christmas. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? She sees Santa Claus. I don't know if she sees a tulpa Santa that's been created from someone else, or if she sees, it's only an hour and 15 minutes now, Coast to Coast time, or if she sees a tulpa that she's created, but she literally sees Santa every Christmas. I'm convinced of it. So there you go, folks. Interesting story. And it's true. Would you do an interview on the Joe? I would love to go on Joe Rogan's show. I can't find his producer to try to get on the show. I'd love to go on Joe Rogan's show. Have I been on Jimmy Church? I've not been on Jimmy Church. I've been on Darkness Radio. I've not been on Jimmy Church. Jimmy is has a great show. He's a fill-in host on Coast to Coast. So love to go on Jimmy's show. Fade to Black, absolutely. Tiffany was introduced to me by default. She heard me talk about Coast to Coast heard me talk on Coast to Coast about the Mandela Effect, which we're going to be doing tonight. A update. George loves to talk Coast to Coast. Lisa, the producer, loves to talk Coast to Coast and loves to talk Mandela Effect because that must be something very popular with people. So we'll be doing a Mandela Effect update. I've got some notes here about Mandela Effect update. And we're going to have some good stuff. Where did I put those? Where did I put those notes about the Mandela Effect? Oh, see? It's a good thing I came on here because I lost my Mandela Effect updates. And there's a few of them that I want to drop on George, so they know he's going to ask me that. So I need to put that and make me a note. MEUD for Mandela Effect Update. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Belief, hope, faith are all part of the same BS system. I agree with you, Riza. It's a system that is fear and guilt-based. It's a system that encourages you to give away your power as a divine, sovereign, and free being. We do need to tap into our higher self, our all-knowing state. That's what I say about nakshatras. You're a beast, brother. Holy Network. Well, thanks. I'm doing my best. Tiffany says that's amazing. I'm not sure what she's saying, but if she says it's amazing, I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. You are reaching people. Critical thought is important these days. It's promoted here. Methinks. Thank you. Back in the day, there was not this luxury. Colin, check out Nag Hammadi. So people bought it. Wish I could get my mom to hear this. Put me in front of your mom. I'll talk to her. You were close, Colin James, very close. And he did say, you're a daisy if you do. But I'm your huckleberry. And sent telegrams, Saturnalia. You're right. See, Colin? This is a big revelation right here that Colin understands that Christmas is Saturnalia. Keep Christ in Christmas, even though they had Christ for 3,000 years, Christmas before 3,000 years before there was a Jesus. Yes, Jen. For 3,000 years, there was Christmas before the birth of Jesus. Violet Flame says we don't need AI. We're all connected. That's something that I talked about a little bit. I want to talk about more. AI, this whole idea of telepathy and stuff by electronics is just a copy of what we have. The time is coming, Violet Flame, Lauren, that we will be able to communicate telepathically. We could do it now if we would all get our analytical minds cleared up, if we would all get the comforter activation, and if we would all get the connection to the divine database. We don't need words. We can talk through telepathy to one another, because in the realm of the etheric, where the gods live, there's no words. There are no words. And we are gods. Mama God, Daddy God, Baby God, growing up. We don't need words. We will be doing telepathy before long. I can't wait till people evolve beyond tech. It only mimics something much more real. Violet Flame, you are hitting on some of my best points, some of my most favorite points. The reason why they're trying to create all this AI is because they're trying to duplicate what we have. It's a poor substitute, and that's in my notes for Coast to Coast tonight. It's a poor substitute. I can't believe I didn't write down my Mandela effects. Hopefully I can remember them. Heidi Vandenberg, stop lying to your kids. I agree. Stop lying to your kids. Jen, ask Heidi, I don't know. Taking notes. I heard that the amulets of Atlantis, we will connect telepathically. You should make shirts that say, with myself, that says I'm your huckleberry. That'd be kind of arrogant, but dude, I would love that. But could I wear a shirt with a picture of me that says I'm your huckleberry? Dude, I'm going to do it. Do I have to put on a cowboy hat or just a picture of me? You are lost, dude. Well, thank you, Gene Michael. That's a very astute comment. Spartan Gaming says, Heidi, thanks for your help. And a reading that kicked my butt in a good way and helped me clean house in many ways. Perfect. How about a t-shirt in your store, Elohim in Training? That's a good one. So lost, I follow the yellow brick road. You're all right, Colin. Good one, Heidi. Shata Bisha. Don't know what that means. Colin is a Cancer ascendant with Jupiter in his first house. I'm still hoping for a God in Training t-shirt. We could do God in Training. Absolutely. Well, I got my Jesus was a shapeshifter notes. I got my notes of who I need to talk about. I got my I got my introductory notes on AI, and then I got my Daniel stuff. Colin Daniel predicted the rise of AI, its attempts to become a deity, and its ultimate defeat at the hands of the people. So what I want to talk about Mandela effect wise are some silly things like skunks, one stripe or two. What else was it? Lucy splaining to do. Never was said. And then I want to talk about, it's not CERN related. It is quantum computer related, and how they're trying to isolate cosmic weirdness. And the geographic dispersal of the Mandela effect tells us a lot about it. There we go. Ooh. So now we're ready to rock and roll. We're loaded for bear. And Rex Bear is going to be coming to the extravaganza of enlightenment. All righty, folks. There you go. I think that's about all we got to say. Beam me up, Scotty was never said. And Shatner says that was never said. That's just, one of those things. Can't wait for my rods. God or God in training. Do I need to download Coast to Coast to watch it? You can just listen to it on the radio if you got a radio, or I think you can listen live on, when it's live, you can listen live on Coast to Coast. Let's go to Coast website. What you can't do is listen to the replay unless you are a Coast insider, which I am. It's worth the $7 or so because I like to listen to the shows. So like right here, they're on live right now. So let's listen live right now. Oh, I guess you do have to be do you have to be a member? Are you kidding me? I forgot my password. Anyway, do you have to, I guess you have to have a Coast to Coast Insider membership to listen live, but you can just go right here and find out where to listen. And you can go, if you have the Sirius radio, it's there, and you can just find your state and it'll show you where to go. I'm surprised that you have to, that you can't listen live unless you're a Coast Insider, huh? Well, there's your answer, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Yeah, the show's on now. And there we go. Is a guy talking about the CIA and stuff. So it's a good lead-in for me. I'm glad of the guy they have on before me tonight. It's a good one. So there you go. Healer, better late than never. Being in the public eye, an all-nighter. Skunks. We are the champions. Yeah, that's a good one too. I missed the whole show. Does Santa say ho, ho, ho? What station is it at? Just look on and we just went over that. Buffalo, Los Angeles. You can listen to it there for sure. Santa smells like vodka and urine. No, we do not send rods to Australia. Way too much money. UK and the US only. Thanks, Jeff, mods, family. I just hit the play and it's on. Okay, so maybe for some reason the play won't work for me. So it looks like you can just go to hit play and bam, it'll work for you. So go and hit play and you can watch or listen. It's going to be on in an hour and 6 minutes. They take a break at the top of the hour. I'll come on about 6 after or so, I think. Then we usually have a short segment, a longer segment, another couple segments, and they take calls, which is always fun. Trust me. And then that'll be it. So I've got some good stuff ready to go. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, spend my last hour getting ready, brew me some coffee, and I will be ready, ladies and gentlemen, to speak to you and millions of our closest friends. Because the whole thing, Riza, with the GST, and you got to fill out these big, long custom forms, and it's just way too much of a hassle to send them to Canada. She saw Santa in the middle of the night, did Lauren, when she was little. So see, there you go. Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Catch me in just a little over an hour on Coast to Coast AM. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. with Heidi Vandenberg, Jenny Moonstone, Trisha Gelder, 2 p.m. on Channel 27 with Heidi Vandenberg. And I'm telling you what, this is going to be great. Can I leave the chat on while you're on the show? I'm too focused in on what George is saying to me. I wouldn't be able to respond to you, but I'll try it. I'll try it. I don't know if it'll stay on. I'll leave it open and see if it stays on. Grab a couple of coat hangers. They work just as good. For what, Colin? What a coat hanger. Oh, they do not work just as good, brother. Get out of here. Colin's trying to hate on my divining rods. But I have to say, coat hangers will work in a pinch. So, hello, Rooney. How are you? You just wanted to come in and say hi to everybody. Come here. Here's our official NCK mascot, Rooney Tooney, baby kitten. Yeah, the pushy cat, the pushy kitten. Say hello to everyone, Rooney. Wave hi. There you go. You're a good boy. People say we look the same. What do you think? All right. Enough for you. Everyone's gonna want to see you and not me. So, see you in an hour on Coast to Coast AM. We will talk to you again tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you. I salute all of you that are here. Even Colin, to unindoctrinate yourself. See you on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie in just an hour. Bye-bye.